Hi all, I'm Cullen Haynes and welcome to Live with Cullen Haynes, the Law Live show, episode 63. I can't believe we've been doing this. This is our third year running, getting into the Live with Cullen Haynes Law Live show. And today I think it's our first of the year. It's 2025, January 22nd, 5:15, and we're broadcasting live in Sydney and going to the eastern suburbs of Melbourne for our next guest. Shout out to Melbourne. And shout out to this fantastic legend of law, 20 years, almost 20 years been doing what she's been doing. A leading firm owner of Madison Sloan Lawyers, author of 2 books, Big Moments and Legacy, and also got some fantastic projects and things that we want to share with you today, and is an absolute powerhouse in the realm of estate planning, looking at the brighter side of the twilight years of one's life. Can you please make very welcome the one, the only, Melisa Sloan, of course. How are you, Melisa?
I'm well, thanks, Cullen. So good to be here with you today.
It's great to have you here, and thank you so much for donating some of your time, 30 minutes to be live, not only on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, but our podcast and everyone on TikTok as well. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Fantastic. So wanted to get straight into it. It started raining. So just as we started, so perfect for everyone tuning in. I wanted to just remind everyone we are live today. So this is a live chat with Melisa. So please put your questions and whatnot in the comments if you can, because we're beaming live right now, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and we'll broadcast it to wherever you get your podcast. So first question, what is happening in your world at the moment, Melisa?
Oh, there's a lot happening in my world. I'm very excited for 2025. We're heading into our 9th year at Madison
Wow.
Sloan Lawyers. Yes, and we've got lots of plans for the year. We couldn't wait for our 10th year to do our rebranding. So we're just putting the finishing touches on that, which is fantastic. And we've just got a lot of little projects that we've been working on that we hope to come to fruition over the next couple of months as well.
Fantastic. And like to remind everyone, I obviously touched on it a little bit with estate planning. What is it, apart from being a leading author, an advocate and speaker, what is it you actually do in a nutshell?
Oh, we basically, I like to say that we help people create beautiful legacies. So many people want to leave a really lovely legacy, and one of the nicest things that you can leave is making sure that the family and your loved ones are well looked after when you're no longer here. So I like to look at it as a positive thing, because obviously estate planning is often the elephant in the room, and people don't like to talk about dying, or they'd rather be doing the gardening or anything else apart from talking about those, yucky, serious things. But I think when people have it in mind, it gives them enormous peace of mind and comfort that it's in place and that everything will go the way they want to.
In your experience, why do you think no one wants to talk about death and planning their will and estate planning? Why is it that most lawyers who are in the space don't have a will for themselves? What is it about death and dying that no one wants to talk about? What do you think it is?
Yeah, I think why a lot of lawyers don't have it in place is because it's a bit like a builder, isn't it? The house is always the last one to be built. But I also think that there's one of the funniest things that a lot of people say is that if they put a will in place, something's going to happen to them and they're going to die. And it doesn't really work like that, unless of course you've got a terminal illness or
No, of course.
something like that. And I recall once I had an 87-year-old man that I met, and he asked what I did, and he said, I don't have a will in place, and I don't need to put one in place for another 5 to 6 years, because both of my parents were 100 when they died. And so his conception was that he's going to live a long age, he's not going to get hit by a bus, so he doesn't need it.
Oh my goodness. It's very interesting, isn't it? Like people are a bit superstitious. Don't get a will, or you might the axe might fall down. And you might
Correct, absolutely.
be shunted off this mortal coil, as it were. But yeah, you
Yeah,
heard it here first, folks. If you get a will, you will not pass away straight away. You've got a little bit of lead time, I'm sure.
absolutely.
And we talked about this before. It can be a book, TV show, or otherwise. How would you explain what you do using film titles or a short description or otherwise, Melissa, in a nutshell for you?
To a 6-year-old, was it? Is that right? Yeah.
How would you just explain what you do in a fun way?
In a fun way, I think I'm the holder of stories. I get to
Yes.
listen to some amazing stories that people say. A lot of them, of course, I could never repeat. But yeah, I mean, explaining it to you, yeah, it's just basically it's a real privilege to be able to help people in this part of their journey because you get to experience the big moments in their life. So for a lot of people, they don't think about putting a will in place until maybe they get their first home or they have their first child, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, we're growing up now. We need to put these things in place. So being part of that journey is such a privilege, and quite often they come in and they're very serious and very nervous about what's going to be discussed, and then they leave feeling very relieved because it's not as bad as what they think it is to have these discussions.
I think it's important. And Melinda just said, God bless you. So thank you there, Melinda. So we're getting people tuning in here. I'd love to know where this passion for this particular set of law, because pun intended, not everyone's dying to get into it. So what sparked your interest in estate planning law yourself, Melissa?
That when I finished university, I was just really interested in succession planning. And I managed to get my articles, that's what it was many years ago, with a law firm in Melbourne. And I had a principal who was very prominent in wills and estate planning and superannuation. And that really captured my interest and just being able to work in a creative way. I mean, I've always worked in a lot of complex estate planning, so dealing with a lot of high net worth clients who may have a number of different structures. And I really enjoy the challenge of, particularly if there's family businesses, of working collaboratively with them and maybe advisors in terms of the best way for succession planning and who gets their assets and who undertake the important roles in that respect.
It must be great content that inspired you to get into the two very different books, but your first book, Legacy, which obviously is a bestseller. So I'd love to talk about that, and then I'd love to talk about how you pivoted from Legacy and the content in that book to the big moments, because I'm sure there was things that inspired you to do that.
Sure. Legacy, I think my clients inspired me to write Legacy. We've got a beautiful visitor.
Now, this is Benji. He wanted to make a cameo. Wave, Benji.
Hi, Benji. How
Yes.
beautiful.
This is my 2-year-old.
He's so gorgeous. So Legacy, my clients inspired me to write Legacy because there are so many people don't know where to start. One of the problems that so many people don't put wills and estate planning in place is it's daunting. They don't know where to start. They don't know what questions to ask. So I thought it would be a really, really good resource for people to read through it, capturing their pain points. They're really the things that they wanted to know about. And as I mentioned before, one of those things for many people is if they have young children. And, how do we go about caring for those? And for a lot of people, it's very confronting to imagine a life without not being there for your children.
That's right.
So
It's harrowing. It's a harrowing thought, in fact. Like you saw the little
yeah,
one there. Gets you choked up.
Yeah. So that was probably where Legacy came through. It was just, how can I make a difference? Present this really great resource that people can tap into. And then from that, they can go and see an estate planning lawyer who can facilitate putting in place the important documents. But it just empowers them to make really informed decisions about their future and their family's future as well.
I love that. And obviously, the big moments is your latest book, and it's talking about those big moments that are important. Like, what big moments were you writing about that you had in mind when you formulated that book there, Melisa?
So the reason I wrote that was basically I was the perfect angel child and the perfect angel young adult. I'm going to be transparent there. That's my version anyway. But
Yes.
I just looked at it and thought, what would have I liked to have known when I was younger? All these lessons so that people don't make the same mistakes that we made along the way, because you don't know what you don't know. I mean, obviously, in your profession, you say lots of people make mistakes, and it's about
Yes,
education.
financial mistakes. We love it. But you can
Yes,
correct it, right? If you're early enough.
correct, absolutely. But if you make that one mistake, it can really change the trajectory of your whole life. And so that was the whole premises of big moments. To be like that big brother, big sister, and just provide a bit of guidance about those big moments in your life. So hopefully you don't make those same financial mistakes. And that you can, live a very happy life. I mean, mistakes have to be made so that you learn from them, but there's, just being a bit more aware about things that you need to be aware of. And that was the whole premises of big moments as well.
Oh, I'm endeared by what you're saying, and I'd love to know. Obviously, you got the skills of being a great writer, a great lawyer, but what's a surprising skill that it's helped you in your legal career so far?
Oh, I would say having empathy. I think in my role, that was something that you really need to have. Be a good listener. Have a lot of empathy and resilience. You need resilience in this day and age to run your own business, to be a lawyer, and just to travel your life journey. So I think those three skill sets are very, very important.
Yeah, good point. And obviously, with the big days that you have jam-packed, talking to clients, talking to families, how does Melisa Sloan unwind after the end of a particularly tough day?
Mm, I really love to travel. So probably thinking about where I'm going to go next is a big plus. Just getting together with people and chatting and talking about the day is also something else. But what I love most, really, I love sunsets. And there's nothing more beautiful than just sitting there. We have beautiful sunsets in Melbourne. And just that closure of the day, particularly in summer. I don't know, I just think it puts everything in perspective and just takes you back to nature. That gratitude process of just reflecting on the day, and if it wasn't a great day, the sun rises tomorrow and there's another opportunity. But just reflecting and just embracing and having gratitude for what's in your life.
Tomorrow is another day.
Yes.
I love that. Is there any passion projects you're working on right now, Melisa? A third book coming out? What can you tell us that you're able to share
No.
with us?
So, Cullen, I know that you have recently written a book, and you know that when you write a book, one of the questions everyone says is, when are you writing your next book? I know, amazing, amazing, and congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But once you write a book, everybody expects you're going to write another book and another book
Yeah.
and another book. The pressure is intense, but I can confirm that I know my book's on the horizon for this year. I can confirm that.
Let's let these books have a chance to, do their thing. Like, come on, people.
It's hard work writing a book. It's very time consuming, isn't it? Very time consuming. It's a mental exercise. But no,
And the
that's the
writing
book.
part is just the beginning, is what I learned. Just writing it is just the beginning. Like the whole,
Yes.
going through the publishing, the marketing, the getting used to Amazon and all that stuff. Like no one tells you these things, but if I knew then what I knew now, I probably wouldn't have
You wouldn't
started.
do it. And I never tell you, do they? I agree with you. Writing the book's the easy part. It's
I would
all of
say
the
so.
promotion after. Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually, as I mentioned before, I really love stories, and I think there's so many ordinary people out there doing extraordinary things. And in big moments, I did talk about having a blog that capitalizes that. So that's something that I'm looking at working towards over the next 12 months. It's been on my horizon probably for 6 months, but last year was just a very enormously busy year. So that's one of the projects that I'm working on, and hopefully over the next coming months, I'll have some more to say about that.
Oh, we're excited to hear it. We're excited to hear it. So thanks for that, Melissa. And I'd love to know, where do you see the legal profession going in the next 10 years?
That's a really, really good question, isn't it? That's a very good question. I think the legal profession is constantly evolving. I think AI is a very interesting concept that has crept into the profession in a little way. I think also being a lawyer is extremely challenging. There's a high burnout rate, so I'm hoping that I'm hoping. I'm not so sure that I'm optimistic, but I'm hoping that in the next 10 years, there's a lot more life balance for a lot of lawyers. And it's not just, I think a lot of it is the expectations we put on ourselves, but managing client expectations, managing firms, managing teams is such a challenge. And it would be really good to have a sustainable solution to that.
No, good point. Good point. We're here with Melisa Sloan from Madison Sloan Lawyers. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comments. We're still probably about halfway through the stream now, and we're talking all things estate planning, big moments, and her legacy book. This is an interesting question. I really want to know, because you said you got some interesting stories. If you can share it, what's the most unusual client request you ever received?
There's been a couple. And it has probably two of them related to requests in the drafting of wills, and one of my clients did not like a particular family member at all. And instead of just leaving it like that, they wanted to bequeath a toilet brush to them in their will. I've got the information. I thought, oh, he's joking. But in the conference, I clearly became apparent that he wasn't joking and he wanted to do that. He thought it was hilarious. I tried to get him to exclude it because I thought that was, very, very nasty. But he wanted to include that. So that was a very interesting concept. Another occasion, I had a client who presented at my office with a list of 20 people that she said were not to attend her funeral.
Wow, that's a big list.
Yes, she had people who do not attend my funeral list, which was a very bizarre concept because I've never ever come across that previously.
I'm going to do that as a LinkedIn poll. I think that's interesting. Would you have a do not attend list at your own funeral? And I wonder if, just yes, no, how many people have got people that they don't want to come to their funeral?
Yes, absolutely. That was really bizarre. And then the funniest thing not the funniest, the most unusual one I think it would be, it was a number of years ago now, but I asked for two siblings who did not like each other. And one of the siblings held their father's ashes in an urn, and I'm talking a big urn, and the other sister wanted them. And so we had to, we had to navigate it, and the other sister said, yes, she can have those. So it was agreed that this sibling would drop them off at our office at 3 o'clock, and then the other sibling would pick them up at 4 o'clock. So they dropped off at our office at 3, and we're waiting for the other sibling to arrive. It was a Friday afternoon before a long weekend. I vividly remember that. And she didn't show. We're ringing her, we're emailing her, there's a no-show. And so I remember thinking, what do we do with these ashes in our office? And just the most irrational thoughts of, what if the office gets broken into? What if the office burned down? All those liability things So we put them inside a box and we just put them on the top shelf because I didn't want them on my desk. And then on the Monday morning, she rang the office at 9 o'clock and she's like, "Oh, sorry, when I bought a new car, I completely forgot to pick him up." So it's been fighting tooth and nail for like weeks. We managed to get the result and she forgot to pick him up. So that was probably one of the funniest things, having to safe custody of her father in a box for the weekend.
Oh my goodness, you were very good custodians, and you looked after and you made sure no one took the ashes. So well done, well done. And talking about those that have come before us and whatnot, I would love to know who has been the most influential mentor for you, Melisa, and why in your journey.
I've had a few. I've had some really good mentors. I don't know if I could just name one person, but I've been very lucky to have surrounded myself with some very amazing people who have influenced my life. I mean, I think my parents were my earliest influences, encouraging me to do what I'm doing. In law, I've definitely been very, very lucky to have some mentors, and I have a coach who was able to assist me on my way. And I think it's really, really important that you surround yourself with those strong people who can guide you and tell you how it is. I mean, be your cheerleader, but also be really realistic about it as well. Because if you have those honest people surrounding you, I think it really helps you on your journey.
I think so. I think it's good to have those people that can tell you how it is and not sycophants that just tell you what you want to hear. They can actually give you those tangible insights to say, hey, I think you should be doing it this way or whatnot. I think that's important. Very well said there, Melisa. I'd love to get your thoughts on this. What would you like to see change in law?
I think that probably goes back to what I mentioned before. I think as a profession, we put enormous pressure on ourselves in terms of life balance is not great. It would be great to be more accessible as a profession as well, but I really think that we need to particularly take better care of the people coming into the profession. It's definitely hard for certain women as well, and also men who are caregivers. But it is a challenging profession in terms of having to meet the expectations of family and other things, as well as the client expectation that you're available, all hours of the day, really, when you're not. So I think that would be really, really important to see, the change over the next however many years.
Well, it's a good point. A nice little segue into our next question, because we obviously got a lot of legal professionals that tune into the show, but a lot of young professionals as well. They can be lawyers, finance, or otherwise. What number one lesson would you give young professionals starting their career right now, finishing uni? What would you say to them?
That I would go into an area of law that you're passionate about, and not just do it because someone else told you to do it.
Yes.
We spend so much time at work that you need to absolutely love your job, and you need to love the people that you work with, because they are going to be there day in, day out. I mean, I'm very, very lucky. I have the most amazing team where I am. We have a lot of fun, supportive, all those sorts of things. And I actually really enjoy coming into work every morning and seeing them, because we chat about what we did and we get there and we get the work done. But it's so important that if you work in a toxic environment and you do that every day, it's not healthy. It's not healthy at all. And you have to, take the step to remove yourself from that and try and find something that's more suited to you. Because it's really, really important. We only get one shot at life, and we need to. I'm all about the moment. I'm all about living in the moment. And if you calculated the amount of hours that you spend at work, you really need to make sure it's an environment that's conducive for you, that you enjoy working in, that you're passionate about, you feel supported. So don't be scared. If you go into a firm and it's like, this isn't really what I thought it was, change. Find something that's more suited to your needs. If
Well
you've really
said.
got
Well said.
set, you'll find it. Yeah.
Yeah, you spend 1/3 of your life, working with people that the only thing you have in common is the carpet you walk on, right? So you got to make sure that it isn't a toxic
Yes.
environment, like you said, and that it's uplifting you. And as I think, bang on. If you don't like it, move. Go to somewhere else that inspires you. Like Jim Rohn says, you're
Correct.
not a tree. You can move on.
It is. And I hear those stories of people saying, I haven't liked my job for the last 10 years. And I can't relate to that because I have some empathy because you're still there, but you're in control of that decision. You're the only one who can change that. So I'm very passionate about that. You just
Good point. Good point.
take
And
responsibility for your own actions in a way.
very much so. Very much so. Well said there, Melissa. And this is a nice question because it kind of is a question that you probably ask your clients day in and day out. But I'd love to ask you, when all is said and done, and you yourself have to leave this world one day, how would you like to be remembered by those that you love and that you interacted with?
That's a tough one. I would probably like to be. This is really hard because I do ask people, but answering it's a challenge. I would probably say I'd like to be remembered as someone who was kind, who had fun, who loved life and lived life, who brought joy, and who made a difference to the world.
And you're already doing that. Well said there, Melissa. Thank you so much. That's
Aw.
very distinguished, eloquent, and well received, I think, by those watching. We've got a few people tuning in and no doubt re-listening. So thank you so much for being part of our Live with Cullen Haynes Law Live today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was great chatting with you.
It was. And where can people find you? Where are you hanging out the most? Where can they grab a copy of your book? Would love to know where you're hanging out.
Probably Facebook. I do Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. If you go to our website, Madison Sloan Lawyers, or my own personal website, which is Melisa Sloan, you can get a copy of my book there, or as probably the same as you can, Amazon, and in all bookshops as well.
Fantastic. I love that. I'll put it on the screen here, melisasloan.com.au, and also visit Amazon for Big Moments and Legacy. And we'll bring you back for some bonus questions in a moment. Melissa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if you are a legend of law and know someone who is and you'd like to be on one of our Law Live with Cullen Haynes streams, please get in touch. I think we're booked up until June. So we got the new financial year to chat to you. We come out Wednesday, most Wednesdays, and we'll be uploading this wherever you get your podcast. Proudly brought to you by Legal Home Loans, the only mortgage broking service for lawyers, and also The Laws of LinkedIn, our newest #1 bestseller that's out. If you're wanting to find your tribe, build your following, and make 7 figures on LinkedIn, I poured my heart and soul into this. Feel free to get it on Amazon or most major retailers would be honored. And the audiobook is coming out very soon because I know some of you love the audiobook. But thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day, and bye for now, everyone. Take care. Bringing you back, Melissa, for some bonus questions, which is a bit of fun. If you could explain your role to a 6-year-old child, how would you go about doing that?
Oh, that stumped me actually. A 6-year-old. Probably that I work in an office and talk to people.
Love that. Simple, fine. I'd understand it if I was 6 years old. Done.
Yeah.
If you have one,
because I don't want to say I hope mommy and daddy make provision for you if something happens to you, because then I'll be in tears that something's going to happen to mommy and daddy.
What's going to happen to mummy and daddy is the next question.
Correct. So I'm not going there. Not going there.
No. Okay. We can. It's like the Santa Claus thing. You can let other people have that discussion, right? Well done. If you have one, Melissa, or did have one, how would your pet describe you?
Very lovable, affectionate. I love pets. I love dogs. I love dogs. I take good care of them. I talk to them, look after them.
Very nice. Very nice. I love that. Very, very honest assessment of Melisa Sloan indeed. So thank you so much to all the pets that you've cared for and the current ones. And last one is if you could go back in time and give yourself advice at any age, what year or what time would you go back to visit yourself? And what would the advice you'd give young Melisa Sloan be?
Oh, I would say, oh, that's a hard one. Probably my late teens and just believe in yourself and you can really achieve anything that you dream of if you put the hard work into it. That
Anything's
would probably
possible.
be my core. I think the harder we work and if you have that self-belief and also control the controllables, that's a really big, that's something that I live by these days. If I can control it, I give it headspace. If I can't control it, it leaves my head because it's not something that I need to try. And the other one is probably what everybody else thinks of you is none of your business. I also live by that as well because just run your own race, live your own life, really.
I love that. I love that. So give it your all, give it your best shot. And Wayne Dyer also said, what other people think about you is none of your business. And I resonate with that wholeheartedly, Melisa. I think that's so
Yes,
important.
yes, absolutely. We're so focused on what other people think about us, and really, it's not. The older you get, you don't care about it.
Good point. Good point. And you're only in your, mid to late 20s. So you've got a lot of learning to go, no doubt,
I love
Melisa.
you, Cullen, for saying that. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much again for joining, everyone. Thank you for watching or rewatching wherever you're consuming this content, everyone. We'll see you next week and have a wonderful and illustrious and euphoric Wednesday. Make it count. Take care.